that we're being told that the council had created a list with them. We then say, why don't you go ahead and negotiate, or let those companies negotiate directly with Logara, so that they can go and view the pieces of land that are being offered as a swap. After that, we'll then find a way of starting this development, because it's now stopping development. We want to move in line with National Development Strategy 2, in line with Vision 2030. We have no time to be just sitting and talking. We agreed on that. The next stage, we received the mayor advised that the companies had gone to court and the council had lost the matter before the court, a default judgment was passed. When we further investigated, we discovered that the companies were owned by senior council employees from the mayor, deputy mayor, and then Shadrach Mashamu. I can mention Shadrach Mashamu because he's a land baron, and another person. So the mayor sat here with his team and reported council to the courts and did not disclose to the acting chamber secretary to go and defend the position of council. And the default judgment was granted. Basically, the mayor was suing himself. The mayor and his team were suing themselves because they are the local authority and they own these companies that is standard. We're now flashing and say they are the legitimate companies. They are not legitimate companies. When we discovered that and we called the mayor and his team here, I said, I reserve the right as the Minister of Local Government and Public Works to call upon Section 313 and 314 of the Urban Councils Act, which says Minister may reverse, suspend, rescind resolutions or decisions of councils where the minister is of the view that any resolution or decision or any action of a council is not in the interest of the inhabitants of the council and area concerned, or is not in the national or public interest. So we told them we want this development to proceed. They went back, met as full council, and passed the resolution that the swap arrangement must be adhered to. And this is where we were until one of them, I think they were not understand. I don't know what was happening within themselves. One of them went and reported the matter to Zaki, and we are well aware what happened to Zaki. But for some reason, one of your publications, Standard or City Newsday, decided to publish falsehoods that the minister is at the center of land baronship in the country, that the minister is the biggest land baron in the country. I have no business in being a land baron. That's not my mandate. And I am at the center actually of fighting land barons. And these 4 companies minus 1, which are land barons. They did not pay a dime to council. Nothing was paid to council. But we are told they received huge sums of money from an innocent businessman whom they sold that piece of land, whom we said, give us the name of this businessman so that we can negotiate with him, or the investor can negotiate with him so that proper arrangements are done. Our role was just to facilitate in terms of the Section 313 and 314. We did that. And this is the story that is there. And your colleagues or you guys, instead of communicating at least with me, to have the decency of communicating and verifying the issues from this side, you decided to write things that are politically motivated. There's nothing to do with the truth. It's a politically motivated story being engineered by people, my political force. There's ones that are engineering that, and obviously I'm told there is exchange of money for people to write like that. So as we speak, we've taken Standard and the Newsday to court. We've sued them. First, they should have communicated with the ministry. They should have at least come to us and say, somebody has reported. We want to know your side of this story. Can you verify are these facts or they are falsehoods? They decided not to do that. And that kind of journalism is malicious, it's treacherous, and cannot be allowed to continue happening in this country. We cannot continue allowing people to do that. So this is the story about that piece of land. We are ready to take it to court. Should people decide to do that, we are ready to do that. But we have sued Standard and Newsday for publishing falsehoods and hot air, misinforming the public, trying to create a perception that the minister is the biggest land baron in the land. I have no business in taking land that is not mine. I have enough land of my own. Why should I do that? I will not do that. And the officers here have no business in facilitating such kind of transactions. We don't do that. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing with the local authorities. In the city of Harare, you are aware, there is a commission of inquiry that was put in place by His Excellency, and they finished their work. We're just waiting for directive now about city of Harare. They are the same people who are in that commission of inquiry, and I'm not privy to disclose the contents of the commission of inquiry in this meeting, but I'm telling you, it's city of Harare is a rot. It's a rot that needs to be sorted out. I think I've done justice to that question. Then in terms of broadly service delivery, we are in Bulawayo tomorrow. We want to go and finalize with the Bulawayo City Council on the issue of Bulawayo Waste City Council waste management and waste collection, as well as water. We have finalized the water issues in Harare. There is a PPP arrangement now. There is a company, an investor, Okro Water, and their partners from China, Lison Technologies, who are now working in rehabilitating the water, Harare water system from treatment plant to conveyancing and water metering. And those that obviously, if there is anyone from Warren Park, you know that some houses in Warren Park are receiving tap water now. We intend that by the end of this year, Harare's water issues will be solved. And we have Harare, city of Harare, we have got Chitungwiza, we have got Norton, we have got Rua, and the adjoining developments like the areas around like Zimri Park. So that's Harare. And we intend to, we are now speaking with investors who have got interest in the rehabilitation of the sewer system to come and so that we can deal with the sewer systems of Harare. We do the same with the drainage system. We are aware when it rains, our roads are flooded in Harare. The reason why they are flooded is because vendors store or keep their wares in the drains. So when it rains, the drains become blocked. We are now bringing in technology that can blow off all that blockage so that our drains are start functional again. But we need to go through the PPP arrangements. Bulawayo tomorrow, I talked about the sewer and water, and we want to be going throughout the country. We have got other cities that are doing pretty well, like Mutare. Karoi has got water metering as well. I understand Mureo Ara this year, I didn't know, that's where I come from, I didn't know that they've got water metering. So some are moving pretty fast. It's just major cities that we need to work on right now.
Any question for the minister?
Relative this issue. Or we are done with it so that we'll go to other things.
Yeah.
You wanted to put a supplementary question?
Yeah, perhaps as follow-up. We continue to see in the urban areas the development of cluster houses across the board. But in most of these instances, there isn't the sufficient infrastructure that accommodates the bustling settlements that we're seeing, as well as those kind of constructions that we're seeing in these metropolitan areas. Perhaps from a bylaws perspective, what is the infrastructure, the mechanisms that are in place to ensure that the development that is taking place is supported by the resources that are available to sustain those numbers that we're seeing?
Let me say the development of clusters in our urban areas in the construction of high-rise buildings, flats to be specific. It's a welcome development because it's answering the questions on housing shortages. And they've done extremely well in that regard. What was not done by the local authorities was to amend the bylaws so that anyone who wishes to partake in cluster development, that person must also upgrade the water system, must also upgrade the sewer system, ensure that the road network is also reconsidered. But local authorities were just rushing to approve the cluster developments without looking at the attendant service delivery system. When we discovered that, we then put in a moratorium on the approval by the local authorities through the Ministry of Change of Land Use and Reservations. Because people apply for change of land use from single residential to cluster, from residential to commercial. You see a lot of commercial buildings mushrooming out there. So we put him, His Excellency put a moratorium to stop that. And people are now applying for waivers. And people were now avoiding the local authorities and bringing their waiver applications here, which is also not correct. We then advised our chief director responsible for spatial planning, Vamshamba, who is here, that all the applications for waivers must pass through the local authorities. Local authorities will then write recommendations to the ministry for subsequent approval. And this is where we are going now. And that confusion was born out of that people were bypassing the local authorities. But the cluster development is a welcome development. The local authorities must ensure that whoever is applied for cluster development must ensure that the attendant services, water, sewer, and the water, sewer, electricity are attended to, so that we don't have blockages and burst pipes because of an increase in the inflow or outflow of sewer or any other. The roads, for instance, roads are designed for a specific population of vehicles. And now if there is an increase in the population of vehicles, the roads will give in because they're not designed for that. So all that should have been taken into consideration by the local authorities. And we are now working on that. Our Department of Spatial Planning, together with the Public Works, are now ensuring that any cluster development, any application for a waiver of change of land use or change of reservation receives thorough attention before it's processed. You are aware that we are now experiencing construction of service stations at every corner of a street or avenue, which is dangerous in the event of fire outbreaks. So we are dealing with that. We are putting that into order.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Minister.